Hello there. Welcome to Fortuna, the lovely colony on Venus, built by our glorious overlords, the Corpus. I mean, not my overlord, but still. At any rate, I would like to preface this that this is an unscripted video, so unlike my usual condensed informational tutorial type content, this is just me essentially rambling about my early impressions on Fortuna, the newest update for Warframe. So, what is it like? Hype versus realism. Well, it is a lot like Plains of Eidolon, as you might have expected. There are secondary weapon salesmen in the name of Rude Zood, and he is basically what you have in Plains of Eidolon as well. The Crafter, only crafts secondary weapons. Now, the business is a part of the main intro quest. The intro quest is actually really well done, a lot better than the one from Plains of Eidolon. But I am slightly confused why servofish was necessary. Like, why was it necessary to be called that? I mean, I can't even. I didn't like fishing in Plains of Eidolon either. When I see this name, even though I haven't even bothered trying to look for servofish or doing whatever activity it would require, I am not enthusiastic about it at all. And as such, I didn't really inquire from the business. So, but there are plenty of other stuff to be excited about, I feel. So in the future, we're gonna showcase them. I just wanted to let everyone know what options there are as I continue on with my ramblings. So, let's look around some more. So we have Smokefinger as well. He is the gem miner. And I suppose that you can only actually mine stuff once you buy the mining gear required. And I'm still fairly early on. I just did the entry quest and the bounties as well. So I haven't actually bought mining gear. Yeah, I know. At any rate, it's the same as Plains of Idol, nothing really new added here. Then there's the Moa seller, Lex. He is actually a very big part of the main story, so I'm just not gonna spoil anything. But it is actually really cool that they basically, instead of just having something isolated, like in Plains of Eidolon, here where we have the main quest that physically changes the environment and the lives of people. But yeah, the Moa pet salesman sells Moas, so I'm excited about that. But there are still a few more things about that I want to show. But yeah, but for anyone who expected this, I know who would expect this to be different than Plains of Eidolon, but I'm sure there were a few. I just hope that they'll put more detail on it, because even so far, I feel like this is better than Plains of Eidolon. That they actually learned. So, we also have Yuliko, who is our main bounty giver. As you can plainly see, I haven't really upgraded, but that is because you need trading bonds, and this is something very annoying. There are three types of debt bonds, that's so far that I'm aware: training, advanced, and medical debt. Now, what they really should do is create a conversion that would allow you to convert the three type of debt bonds from one to the other. Currently, there is no mechanic like that, and without that, it's super unlucky. I need one more, and there is no real way to get it, but there is an alternative way to get it. Instead of hoping on RNG, you'll see shortly, you can basically go to the last member. But yeah, we're not going to showcase that just yet. But yeah, the mission layout itself is something I think that isn't really anything special. Even Plains of Eidolon did that thing better, probably the only thing that they did better. But yeah, this is also how you get Garuda, and you can get lenses and different training depth. This is the only way you can get it, other than speaking with the last member, if you are not aware of him. It is probably the very most important thing, and it is why you should watch this tutorial if you don't know the fast travel function exists, and if you're a new player and you haven't accidentally met this guy. But yeah, we'll get to him shortly. Let's meet Rocky first, because the K-Drive is yet another cool thing that was added, and something that is super awesome. This game always had great movement. It is the primary reason why people play it, movement, shooting people, unique weapons, fighting hordes of enemies at once. So, you can use fast travel, but I wanted to show you guys where the entrance is because this is sort of the hidden area. What I don't like that the vent kits have their own separate affinity. Yet another thing to grind, and I don't think that it is required mechanically. I don't think this is a good idea. K-Drive is so fun, and I had so much fun in the main story mission using it. It is awesome. Compared to Arcwing, the movement is fluid, it is fun, you jump around, you do stunts, it is great. And now we have yet another obscure thing that we need to farm affinity for. But yeah, looking about, there are mods as well. There are a bunch of rewards about from all the vendors, like you would expect. So yeah, it is pretty cool. It's cool the amount of detail they put. If we add all these little things together, you can clearly see that they have polished and upgraded from Plains of Eidolon. So the real question is not this update is good or bad. It is the question of is it good enough versus hype versus realism, because it was super hyped up. Plains of Eidolon was hyped up very much as well when it came out. So let's look around some more. Let's talk some more. Here we have Ticker. So yeah, this is a new mechanic which was added, which is pretty cool. I always like new mechanics, new stuff that sort of break the monotony. Now, previously, when before Plains of Eidolon, Warframe was a game with a bunch of planets where you moved around and shoot horde of enemies. That was the fun of it. That was the glory of it. They were unique events, and everything that came up was unique. But with Plains of Eidolon, they tried to basically create a system of several mission types which would basically be pushed together. And that is why it failed. It basically created a giant open field. And I know I'm being harsh. It didn't actually fail, per se, but it did not live up to the hype. Now you can see basically why the whole bond business is annoying. You have 3 different types, you can exchange them for affinity. Why can't you do an exchange for each other? Have a currency. This is the Corpus. They are a giant merchant guild. You should be able to exchange anything for everything. Back on topic. I'm sorry I'm a bit talking about multiple stuff, but this is an unscripted video, like I said, and I am just rambling about my early impressions, so if this was not what you were expecting, I'm sorry, this is the video. Yeah, I'm hoping that you're enjoying it, though. Anyway, what else? Alright, Warframe was not an open world game, and it worked just fine, as long as there was new content and unique stuff for people to do. The problem was that when you introduce an open world game mechanic, it has to live up to the open world game style. And that is something, for example, The Witcher 3 did really well. You cannot just put in a bunch of missions and call it a day. It doesn't work for an open world game environment, because while in Warframe you can change the environment at will, fight mission types, change it up as you wish. When you're doing an open world mission for affinity, for something you want, you don't really have that much choice and freedom that you have in other situations. That is why it is very important that I feel that Fortuna would benefit and should benefit from a few closed up areas where you can do different type of missions. Maybe an expedition to the core of the planet or something, where you basically just fight a horde of enemies. Maybe the Grineer are trying to assault the core of Venus to take over from the Corpus from within, and you lead an expedition to defend it. Would be nice. Or the Corpus are trying to use it as a facility to create a giant robot army, and you have to destroy it for them to not take over the world. Other than that, what else is there that I've missed, that I've experienced so far and I've talked about? Alright, the main mission does include a monster that is basically meant to replace the Eidolon. It is some sort of giant spider-ish thingy. But yeah, it is like an Eidolon because you can't damage it normally. You probably need to switch to operator mode, maybe even have special weapon. I actually should have tried that, but yeah, I didn't try that. It probably won't have worked. Only it probably only is susceptible to a certain type of damage. The Eidolons had radiation, so this has something different probably. Other than operator mode. I'm certain operator mode would have worked, but honestly I was just doing the mission solo and I had no intention of dying for an experiment. At any rate, yeah, that is... I have still yet a lot of stuff to discover in this expansion, but so far these are my impressions. These are the conclusions I was able to draw. It is basically an upgraded, better made Plains of Eidolon, if you wish, at least in my opinion. Hype versus realism is probably not worth the hype if you were expecting something vastly superior. If you were keeping up with the news, it's probably exactly what you were expecting. A clone of Plains of Eidolon with better looks and a bit more detail with a few added mechanics. And actually, yeah, there are the new enemy types. I forgot to talk about yet another thing. The new enemy types are very interesting. They throw you around. That is really something cool. They sort of jump into you and they knock you around. Usually, they're only the Moas who just basically make a force field that pushes you back. But there are special enemy types here that are really, really cool and handy and awesome. So yeah, let's look about. Let's go outside and have some missions maybe. Warframe has moved away from its earlier roots, and therein lies the danger, because if you focus entirely on this aspect, the open world game, you are gonna neglect the other parts of the game, and that is something I am somewhat afraid of. But I'm also confident in the handling it. Let's move out and see what we have here. As you can see, there is some... They look nice. The detail on the snow and ice is really good and really cool. The only problem I have are the rocks themselves. You can clearly tell that if you would remove the snow and ice, it would be the same rock texture that it was in Plains of Eidolon. I really wish they would have just not added that or just made it a different color. Or honestly, I don't like the fact that they put so much detail on everything else and they sort of cut corners there because it makes it so obvious. But yeah, this is what I talked about. There are reinforcements beacons, which if you want to fight a horde of enemies, you can leave them be and reinforcements will come. That is another really nice mechanic that they added. That is really super cool. But yeah. Other thing I don't understand is here it's okay to have water, but I hope that there won't be water anywhere else. I think I remember seeing water other places as well. It doesn't really make sense. I don't believe that... Well, what am I kidding? I'm nitpicking here, I believe. This is a story about space ninjas fighting about. Of course there's water on Venus. Now the only problem with that is that it is its own lore consistency. I would have much preferred if instead of the water we would have ice everywhere, just like on the tile sets. And if you want to fish, which I seriously doubt, and even from the images we saw, it's probably just pieces and junks, but you could do ice fishing, I guess. I hate fishing. Sorry guys, I really hate it. Anyway, I know you can just throw about a bait and they'll come soon on Plains of Eidolon. I'm going off topic. I would like to thank you all for watching the video till the end. And I'll be returning to my usual content soonish for guides